Hello and welcome to the 32K Grant Launch Project Blueprint. I am Dr. Krista Kurlinkis, and I'm so excited that you are here with me today. This training is for anyone who wants to make more money as a grant writing consultant. And underlying all of this is my belief that you deserve to make good money while doing good. You don't have to be broke to be a grant writer. You don't have to be broke to work with nonprofits. You can have both. If you don't know me, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I started my grant writing consulting business, now named Krista Kurlinkis LLC, back in 2015 after I graduated from Ohio State University with my PhD in rhetoric, composition, and literacy studies. In the last few months of my doctoral program, I had moved out of state and took a job as a director of development at a nonprofit with an annual budget of over $1 million. I had a little bit of grant writing experience, no development experience, and felt extremely lucky to get this director level position straight out of grad school. Well, I soon learned why they hired someone with a lot of potential, but very little experience in the field. It was an extremely toxic and somewhat dangerous job. I stayed there only 4 months before I quit and opened a grant writing consulting firm. Despite the negative experience I had at that job, in the time I was there, I learned that I, in fact, really loved the art of writing grants, and I was quite good at it. So I quit that job on a Saturday and immediately went online and registered my business with the Oklahoma Secretary of State. I had no idea what gave me the courage to do it. Maybe it was just naivete, but I had just $3K in savings and the desire to never work for another boss again. In my first 6 months, I was able to make what I would have made in my entire annual salary for that old development director job. But to be honest, the last 10 years have not been all easy. Despite that early success, it's not like I immediately skyrocketed to hundreds of thousands or even $1 million overnight. I made a ton of mistakes, surely lost out on more money than I can even imagine. And I have spent 10 years learning, iterating systems and methods, and marketing strategies to finally get where I am today, to scaling beyond just myself or a few contractors to a team. And this year, we're taking our business to the next level and taking all of our Grant Writing Boss Club students along with us for the ride. We have tested and perfected this 32K grant launch program over the last year with our clients, helping them become more successful in both the short and long term. And now we're taking this system to scale. Our goal is to get 20 clients to sign up for the 32K program in the next 6 months. That's $640,000 just on this one program. And today I'm going to show you how we're going to do it and how you can do it too. Then at the end of the training, I'm going to invite those of you who want to learn everything we show you here today in depth to get all the pre-made templates to do this yourself and to get our ongoing support from our team and community along the way. I'm going to show you how you can join Grant Writing Boss Club. We already have a work shadowing program in Boss Club where over the past few months, we showed our students in detail how we deliver this grant launch program for one of our clients. And now we're going to show them how to do that at scale and get 20 clients to sign on to it. Now, because this training is so awesome, I'm asking you to make it top priority today. So I'm asking you to close out other tasks on your computer, silence your phone, shut your door, so you can really tune in and change your future starting now. If you want to create a business that actually builds sustainable income for you, your family, your clients, and any employees or contractors you hire, you are going to benefit massively from this training today. If you want to create a business that is scalable, that doesn't just rely on you as a freelancer to keep the revenue coming in, this training is for you today. If you want a career, a business that allows you to be more autonomous in your not just work, but in your whole life, this is for you. And finally, if you want to finally be able to pursue values-driven work that completely aligns with your values, not just for the clients you work with, but how you do the work, this training is for you. Now, let's identify what might be going on with you right now. Let me know which one of these best describes you. You can drop a number in the chat, and you can drop multiple numbers if several of these apply to you. First of all, if this is you, give me a 1. I'm a full-time grant writer who dreams of quitting. 2, I freelance, but feel like I'm just winging it. 3, I'm tired of being underpaid and overqualified. 4, I want to build a consulting biz, but have no idea where to start. And 5, I know I'm capable of more. I just need a plan. Now, another one, I want you to let me know if you could wake up tomorrow and have one thing already figured out in your grant writing career, what would it be? Number 1, your pricing. Number 2, finding clients. Number 3, building a full-time income. Number 4, feeling confident as a consultant. That's a big one for a lot of people. And number 5, creating your dream work schedule. And last one, let's bust a myth together. What's something you were told about grant writing that you hope turns out to be totally false? That number 1, it's just side work. Or 2, people won't pay more than like $50 an hour. 3, that you need 10 years of experience before you go out on your own as a consultant. Or 4, that consulting just isn't stable. These are 4 myths that we are going to bust today. I'm also going to tell you why now is the time to make the leap, if you haven't already, into consulting. Number 1, the freelance economy is growing rapidly and will likely replace most full-time jobs in the near future. With layoffs, formerly stable jobs are not so stable anymore. Staff grant writers are often not paid a living wage or as much as what you could be making as an independent contractor or grant writing boss, in which there's massively more earning potential. So let's take a look at wages for staff grant writers. The average salary for grant writers is $76,226. The salary range, 68 to about 85, as compared to consultant salaries. The average salary for a consultant, $91,880, with a salary range of 75 to 105. But I want to tell you that even that top number of 105 is not that high. We have Grant Writing Boss Club members making even more than that, just doing consulting as a side hustle, in addition to their full-time jobs. What I'm teaching you here today is going to give you the blueprint for getting to that level as a grant writing consultant. So, since you've joined me here today, this is what you're going to learn. Number 1, why the 32K Grant Launch Program is key to growing your business. 2, how to find clients that need and can afford this service. 3, how to pitch and close this service. And 4, how to do the work. Now, let's talk about why this is so key to your growth. First of all, what is the launch program? For us, it's a 6-month program that we created to help organizations build an organized and robust grant-seeking program before we go into retainer work. So they have to do this, they have to pay for this separately before they can do retainer work with us. It includes a grant readiness evaluation, a grant prospect identification and annual grant strategy, the development of a standard grant narrative. Usually it's about 100 pages long. Development of an AI grants hub in Notion, which we're going to teach you how to do today. Grant staff training and or recruitment, if they have staff or they want to hire staff. And submission of 1 to 3 LOIs or grant applications as sort of a proof of concept or stress test for all the materials that we created. And then finally, access to our Ascend program, which is what we call our retainer program. For organizations greater than $1 million, we charge $32K or more for the grant launch program. For organizations less than $1 million, it's usually at the least a $16,000 program. The first time we did this project, it took us 90 hours because we had to build all of the systems within the Grants Hub ourselves. Now we've cut that time in half. And this program is so effective that now we have 100% of our retainer clients go through the launch process before we allow them to start a retainer with us. So let's talk a little bit more about your results. You're likely already doing services you would have to weave throughout your retainer anyway, like the grant readiness, like the grant search, like the standard grant narrative. Now you're getting those ready before you have to start putting out product, the grants themselves, and you're charging them separately for them and getting more income as well as more respect and preparation through this process. If you could serve only 10 clients per year with just this service, no ongoing retainer afterward, that could bring you between 160 to 320K in revenue. It also leads to higher client retention and easier retainer work for you. And finally, overall, you can just have fewer clients and bring in more revenue with this project. Next, this leads to increased grant awards for clients, an overall better client experience where they feel really understood and taken care of from the beginning before you jump into writing actual grants. And then finally, it improves their long-term success and ability to scale their grant-seeking program. Now, why is this program so unique? First of all, we have been doing grant readiness, annual grant application strategy, standard grant narrative for years for our clients as separate pieces. But now integrating all those together into a package that they have to go through in this very standard way before doing retainer with us makes it so much more integrated into everything that we do. Ultimately, it saves hundreds of hours for us, and it saves time for the client as well because they're never scrambling to find things, usually at the last minute, right? Because we've done all of this work up front. And then if the client chooses to do their own grant writing after this project is done, they save time. So it's a major selling point for them too. And finally, the tech is going to set you apart and make you among the top consultants in your field. Building and teaching them to use the AI Grants Hub is a service few other consultants, I would say, are offering. I actually haven't heard of any yet, in fact. And it's going to be so valuable to clients, both in the short and long term. Okay, now I know a lot of you are wondering, well, how do I find people who want this service? Honestly, anybody who wants to form a grant-seeking program. So that's people who are seeking grants in an ongoing manner. Registered 501c3 nonprofits, colleges, community colleges, universities, independent school districts, local government, state government, Native American tribal governments, the list goes on. Any grant eligible organization should have this whole program under their belt before they start applying for grants in a bigger way. So who can you kind of identify when you're looking at clients, you're sitting down with them and talking to prospects? Number one, orgs that have applied for grants, but not in any kind of strategic way. They've applied for a few here and there. They don't have a good strategy of which ones they apply for and which ones are not worth their time. Also, orgs that have applied for a ton of grants and have gotten a lot of grants, but they're growing. They have new programs or they haven't updated their strategy for the current or upcoming year. And we all know there have been a ton of funding changes in the last few months even. So now people need new strategies and they need them now. Also, orgs that don't have a dedicated grant writer who only does grant writing. So not a development director, not an executive director or other staff who does grant writing in addition to a dozen other responsibilities. They're the ones who need this because they don't have this unified strategy. Now, who can afford this? I kind of indicated this earlier, but nonprofits about $1 million and under They can afford this at about $16,000. And it's appropriate to charge less because they have less to write about. Organizations with a budget of 1 to 5 million, you could charge $32K, and nonprofits or organizations at 5 million and above absolutely charge more than $32K for that because they have much bigger programs and a lot more to write about. When it comes to finding these clients, do not overcomplicate it. There's no reason to, I promise. The first thing that you can do is start by simply sharing an email and a LinkedIn post or another social media post with your local and online networks. So you can say, I'm excited to share with you that I've opened a grant writing consulting business, that I can use my expertise to serve nonprofits, for example, that help women and children. If you know of anyone who might be interested in working together, please send them my way via email and then give your email. Now, for me, I'm going to use a prompt just like this and say, hey, I'm trying to find 20 motivated organizations who want to build a successful AI-enhanced grant-seeking program. Who out there is interested? So even though I've been doing this for 10 years, I can still use this exact same post to get new clients coming my way. Now, if you don't have a website, you do not have to go out and build a website. Absolutely not. Just start by using your LinkedIn or even building a cheap landing page with lead pages. I'll show you how to do LinkedIn first. So, elements of a strong LinkedIn: a professional photo, a compelling headline and summary, which looks like this: who you serve plus their end result. So for me, that's grant writing expert helping human rights nonprofits win grants. So clearly there's the result. They're winning grants. Who is it? Human rights nonprofits. And I even have who I am in there, grant writing expert. Next, update your experience to feature client results. So rather than just having a list of jobs that you've had with a few bullet points for each, or sometimes nothing underneath for each, go in and list different projects that you've done and the results that have come from those projects. So even if it's not for clients, you've never worked with clients, talk about specific projects within your job. And there's even a place down at the bottom to list out projects, and you can kind of make little case studies for people to read. The next thing I want you to do on LinkedIn is connect with more people. You can have it access your email list. You can go through and search for people. You can search for like connections to connections that you have. Go through and try to connect with leaders in your field that you follow or that you like to see pop up on your feed. And just overall, try to get this up to 500 plus connections. I can remember a couple of years ago, that was my goal with my LinkedIn profile. Just get to 501, because once you have that 501, it's going to only show 500 plus ever from then on. So it looks like you're really well connected once you have that 501. Other elements of a strong LinkedIn: make sure that right under your profile, you use that option to link. If you do have a website, link that website, or you can just put your free discovery call form right at the top where they can fill out your form and ask to have you contact them. And you can just make this, again, for free using free tools like Google Forms to make that and link it right here. The other thing I want you to do is go through and endorse other people in your network so that they will give you endorsements back in the categories that you have set up, like grant writing, proposal development, project design, grant research. So go make sure you put those skill sets in there before you go endorse people, and then hopefully they will feel the need to endorse you back. And finally, post useful and insightful things regularly that position you as an expert in your field, and maybe even as an expert in your niche within grant writing. Next, you can build a $37 a month lead page with lead pages. I love lead pages. Everything on all of my websites that you'll see besides my blogs are built with lead pages and then pulled into my WordPress site. okay? And then what you're going to do is make sure that you do very similar things as what you did in LinkedIn, right? You want to have a compelling headline, who you serve plus their end result. So mine is grant funding to protect human rights. We empower change makers to secure grants, blah, blah, blah. And always tons of buttons throughout these pages, very clearly buttons that take you to where they can learn more about your services and where they can sign up for a discovery call or request a discovery call with you. All right, now, other ways to find clients. These are more active ways, okay? Reach out to past or current clients or colleagues and say, I'm doing grant writing consulting or I'm doing this specific project and I would like to work with 5 more of you. Where can I find more people just like you? So this is a lower pressure request. It's just a question. They don't have to do any work after the fact. They might actually reach out and give a referral to you because they know you're looking for work, but you're not asking them to. Instead, you're asking them to tell you like what conferences they go to, what boards they're on, which associations they're members of. And then you can go do the work of making inroads into those spaces, going to the conferences, joining the associations, putting yourself in the places where you can find people just like them. Now, if you've been told that cold emails don't work, I will tell you from experience that is not true. When it's the right client, when you do your research, you reach out to those ideal clients in this way I'm going to show you, it can be very effective. Now, we use Dubsado. You can use any CRM to really automate this process so that you can do it for a lot more prospects. Once you start doing numbers, then more people are going to sign up, okay? So don't send out 5 cold emails, not get an immediate response, and then say, hey, this doesn't work. It doesn't work. That alone doesn't work. You have to do a lot more than that. You also want to have at least 5 emails in your sequence. So one reach out is not enough. You need to keep showing up in their inbox. The first email is going to be an introduction and a value proposition. Who you are, why you want to work with them, showing that you know something about their work, right? And you have some insight into it, and tell them what you can do specifically to help them get more grants. In your second email, you're going to highlight success stories of clients who have done this with you and have done really well. You can do case studies, you can include testimonials, include pictures, that always helps. Then in your third email, you're going to offer them expert insights. Well, that can mean a lot of different things depending upon who your client is. It might be saying, I saw this grant opportunity that could be a perfect fit for you. Make sure it is. And I just had to send it to you. Or did you know that this new strategy is working for my clients? And I wanted to share this like a little piece of how you could do it yourself. Or I could talk to you about how I could implement it for you. Next, you're going to give them a personal proposal. Now, if you're doing my 32K launch program, you can start with that template and then revise it to make it more personal to them. But mostly, you're going to have a template for whatever you're proposing, and you're just going to adjust it, tweak it for each prospective client. The fifth email is going to be a final follow-up with a limited CTA or call to action. So say, you know what, I've got time next week. I've blocked up a bunch of time for meetings to talk about this. But after that, we might not be available because we have a ton of clients signing up for this service, and we're just going to be implementing it and not marketing it and talking with prospects anymore. So do you want in? Do you want to learn more? And it's not like they have to commit to doing the service at that point. What they're committing to is just talking to you. A fifth way that you can find work, and this is by no means the final way, but these are 5 great starting points, is that you can find work in online communities and forums like our free grant writer community on Mighty Networks. We're at 2,069 members. A lot of them are grant writers. A lot of them are consultants who might need subcontracting work. And a lot of them are nonprofit leaders who are trying to learn a little bit about grant writing, but it's not their true desire. It's not their full-time work. So people like you who want it to be your full-time or consulting gig can go in there and find people to work for. And we do a post once a week helping people find each other. So definitely our grant writer community on Mighty Networks is one place. You can also get signed up for things like the Philanthropy News Digest jobs emails, Inside Philanthropy jobs, National Council of Nonprofits, Idealist, of course, things like LinkedIn and Indeed, DevX for international jobs, Inside Higher Ed for academic grant writing jobs, and the Grant Professionals Association, which I would just recommend everybody join anyway. As you grow, your marketing is going to evolve far outside of what I'm showing you here. And of course, we teach all of that inside of Grant Writing Boss Club. But the 5 strategies that I gave you here today are a great place to start and the best place to start if you are new to grant writing consulting or just trying to quickly build your consulting business. The next thing you want to make sure you do is pre-qualify your clients. I don't care how fresh you are to consulting, you don't want to take calls that are a complete waste of your time. So before accepting a discovery call, have them complete a questionnaire. I do a pretty detailed one, and I recommend that you do too, based on who you want to work with to make sure that they meet that client avatar that you design. We talked about that at the beginning, like what type of clients could use this work, but you'll get more specific with that avatar if you're joining us in Grant Writing Boss Club. But anyway, we ask a ton of questions in here, and we make them take the time to do this to show us that they are serious. And this really cuts down on people not showing up. And it also helps me to be super prepared so that I'm not trying to get basic information during the call. Of course, I'm listening, but I'm also assessing based on what I already know. And also because they've put time into this, they are going to feel more invested in this process before they even get on the call. Now, during your discovery call, and of course after the discovery call, it is your job to sell to your client. And I know a lot of us don't like selling, but I want you to think of it as problem solving rather than getting them to buy something from you. Clients are here looking for a solution. So it's your job during the call to listen to their problems, ask questions, and then propose your solution, which is a service. It's also your job during this call to educate them on why they need your solution. However, you want to say, this is my idea of what will work for you, but I want to gather more information and think more carefully about your needs, and then design a customized blueprint for you that we'll discuss in a second call. Then, after you do that, you collect more information from them. You might ask for some specific documents or grant examples. Then you're going to give them a tailored blueprint that includes deliverables with a timeline, the impact of the deliverables, pricing, next steps, and here's the kicker, a time limit on this proposal that says, I could only honor this proposal for the next 14 days, and then pricing may change or my availability may change. Let's quickly look at an example. I'm not going to read all of this, so definitely really look at it yourself. First, we have the description of the grant readiness evaluation report and recommendations. So you'll notice here that what I usually do is I give them the final deliverable as the first bullet point, and the second bullet point is the process of how we'll get to that final deliverable. Again, the comprehensive grant prospects list and annual strategy. And I give them numbers when I can, right? So at least 25 to 30 qualified grant opportunities. The standard grant narrative template, and I want them to be able to picture this, 50 to 100 pages long, serves as the cornerstone of your grant materials for years to come, organized, hyperlinked, and annotated for your ease of use. Then the development of an AI Grants Hub, which I'm going to teach you a little bit about later. And I explain a little bit of what it is. So it uses Notion and Notion AI to create So then I describe this service leverages advanced tools, including Notion and Notion AI, to create a customized, user-friendly database tailored to your organization's need. I say what it incorporates, so everything from the launch program, along with your previous grant applications. And then what does this allow them to do? Enables you to quickly generate high-quality grant applications using AI-powered tools, designed to streamline your grant seeking process, save time, and ensure consistency across applications, giving you a competitive edge in securing funding while empowering your team to manage future grants efficiently. So we're thinking also about grant management. Next, the grant writing training program. So this depends on who you're working with, but if they want to train their team to use this, and I mean, they're going to have to use it in some way. They may not be writing the grants, but they'll be entering information into the database. So explain exactly what this training looks like, how often, and how many of them will occur. Then, of course, give them a timeline, right? You don't want them to think that you're not going to do anything for 5 months, and then in the last month, you're going to do everything. So you've got to spread it out and show them what they're going to get with each month. And then, of course, this is breaking the 32K program up into monthly payments. So it's 5 and 5 the first 2 months, 6 and 6 the middle months, which is where the standard grant narrative really gets written, and it's a ton of work. And then 5 and 5 for the last 2 months. One thing you want to make sure is that you are listening very closely to them during the meeting and adjusting that standard proposal template to reflect their needs and your conversation. You want to make sure you use the notes, and I always record these meetings too, and I let them know at the beginning why I'm recording them, and that is so I don't miss anything that they wanted or needed out of our work together. Now, this is something that we do. And sometimes we'll say like, okay, this is included. And sometimes we'll say, you know what, I think we can just do this for you all, just to do a proof of concept of how well this actually works. And so if you're like, oh, I'm throwing this in here for you for free, that is just really going to be set them over the top. Like, I can't believe they're doing this for me, right? So it's kind of like that marketing principle of delighting someone, like surprising and delighting someone. And then you are going to review the proposal during the second call. Don't give it to them beforehand. You're doing it during the call. And this is important for higher end projects like a 32K project. If you are just doing like a 1K, let me help you revise and edit this proposal type thing, you don't need to do all of this. But when it's for a bigger project, they need to see that you're taking more time with them. Now, why does this strategy work? You're listening to them, taking time for them, and strategizing for them, because people want custom, not one size fits all when it comes to big projects like this. The prospect is also going to experience some of the sunk cost fallacy if they get to the end of these. Like, first they did a questionnaire, then they did a meeting, then they sent you more information, then you wrote a proposal, then you had another meeting and reviewed the proposal. They've put in a significant chunk of time into the idea of working with you, and they're not going to want to throw that away by not then spending the time working with you. So they're going to feel an aversion to that, and they're going to want to work with you on top of like this incredible program and all the materials and, you know, the added value that you're offering them. They're going to feel that sunk cost fallacy and be even more invested in working with you. Okay, now here comes the most important part, which is doing the work. We're not just selling people on this amazing project, we are fulfilling it. Okay, so let's move on to the grant readiness assessment. So you are going to use a grant readiness assessment template that lists out the different legal registrations they need to have, the different financial systems and materials, the organizational capacity things that they need to have, and the internal documentation of their organization that they need to have. You're going to send this on day one of the contract, but then you're going to go over it during the kickoff call. You're going to check off any materials that they have. They're supposed to be sending you these, right? So you're going to check off the ones that they have and make note of what they don't have and provide advice during that kickoff call on how to obtain those materials. Then you're going to deliver all of this in a final grant readiness assessment report and review it in another meeting. So you're going to give a detailed explanation of what they need to do. It says, for example, if you need to register with your Secretary of State, here are all the steps to doing that. If you need to apply for an EIN, and those seem like basic things, but sometimes people don't have them. So we have all the instructions for everything you could think of in this 12-page template. And then we'll just remove anything that doesn't apply to them. Now, another thing we'll do is we'll say, hey, you know what? We'll help you get registered. We'll do 1 or 2 things on this list for you, and the rest of them we'll just talk you through how to do. I bet you all are familiar with this grant readiness assessment process already. Now, the other thing we do is we put this in our AI Grants Hub so that our clients can also refer to it as they're doing their other work. Next is our grant search evaluation and strategy. So number 1 and 2, I have number 2 here, is meet with the client to confirm several things that you've already noted in your prior research to meeting with this client about this specific task. So 1, you're going to confirm geographic location and scope of services. 2, funding needs by category. Do they need general operating and program only, or do they also need equipment funding, capital funding, capacity building funding, training and technical assistance, or travel? What are the specifics of the types of funding? And then categories of work by both NTEE code and keywords, because that's what a lot of databases use to do their searching. Next, you're going to conduct the grant search on a grants database according to those priorities. So we use Instrumental primarily, but we also use ChatGPT. Then you are going to take the data that whatever database gives you and lets you export and add a lot more detail to it. So, for example, we're looking at more than just like the average grant award and openness to new grantees percentage. We're looking at state by state. How many grants were awarded to the state that client is in the last 3 years? What percentage of that was that of all the grants that they've given? We're looking at the specific NTE code. So if it's arts and culture, we're looking at other arts and culture and how much was given to that category as a percentage. And we're logging all of that onto a very, very long spreadsheet, okay? Logging all of that information into a spreadsheet. So far manually, but I just talked to Instrumental yesterday about like maybe they could let us start to export that. We'll see. And then we use ChatGPT to assign a likelihood of award score. So we have a specific prompt that we use to get it to analyze all of this data, match it and align it and compare it to our clients' organization's data and information, and then say, okay, here's what the likelihood of award is. Because they give you all this data in these grants databases, but how do you process it and make meaning from it? That's what we do as part of the grant search evaluation and strategy that I haven't heard anybody else on the market in this field doing. And when I brought it up yesterday to Instrumental also, they look shocked. We've been doing this for a while now, probably a year, I think. And we're perfecting it. Now what we do is we take that number from the ChatGPT AI analyst, and then we combine our own analysis, right, and assign a low, medium, and high priority to each grant opportunity. Then we place the high and medium priorities on our grant tracker spreadsheet, which is organized by month. And we'll take some that are, due soon, but also some that are going to be due much later, or not due later, but due on a rolling deadline, and spread them throughout so they can see what a year of grant applications would look like based on this strategy. We then present the spreadsheet to the client in a meeting, okay? And after they confirm, like, yes on this, no on this, we have insider knowledge on this, so let's change this, we revise the spreadsheet so the client can use it as an annual grant strategy. And we actually split things up so that you can organize what you're applying for by category. Like this grant, we're asking for $50,000 for general operating. We still have $100,000 left that we need to cover for general operating. So we need to plan for another grant that'll fund that specific thing. So all of this is connected. Now I'm showing it to you here on a spreadsheet, but we also have it put it into our AI Grants Hub, and we turn it into a database that's linked and tagged so that it can be used and pulled into other elements of the hub to help us plan our strategy for the year. Sound cool? Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Evelyn. Next is the standard grant narrative. I bet most people know what this is. Some people call it different things. We like to call it a standard grant narrative. It's everything that you could ever write about in a grant put into one very long but organized and hyperlinked and table of contents-ized document, okay? So we start with the materials from their grant readiness assessment to get information. We request all old grant applications from at least the last 5 years. We take everything from their website that we can find, and we fill in our own proprietary standard grant narrative template as best as we can. Then we share that draft with the client. We ask questions in the comments about missing information and live during the meeting. And then we may schedule informational interviews, further interviews to gather more detail and get stories, elicit stories from staff, maybe board members, maybe stakeholders. Then we revise, share it with the client again, and give them the revised and edited final draft, which is normally 50 to 100 single-space pages. Okay? Standard grant narrative video is not playing. It looks like it's uploading. So I don't know if that is going to work. Technology is not on my side apparently today. Now let's go to, I would love to show you this, but I think I show it a little bit later on. Now let's go to the AI Grants Hub. So this is the fourth component that you weave throughout all of these other components, okay? We spent the last year, like I said, testing and designing the AI Grants Hub with real clients to be a comprehensive workspace that streamlines and optimizes your entire grant writing and management process. This powerful toolkit combines strategic planning, AI writing support, and project management to help organizations like your clients secure and manage funding more effectively. So here is what that template looks like, and it is freaking amazing. I wish you could just go spend some time in it right now, but you can see Stephanie has uploaded videos throughout the entire thing explaining how to use everything. It has the grant strategy and task trackers, grant writing systems, video tutorials, and all of this is going to, again, like I've been saying, lead to increased efficiency for both you and your clients. So you, if you continue working with them on retainer, better organization to track all grant-related activities, deadlines, and tasks in one place, improved collaboration. You can access everything related to your grants right here in this one space, edit right there in that one space, like live edit, and you don't have to send things back and forth or figure out where things are. It is a strategic approach that allows you to transform grant seeking from reactive to proactive with structured systems and planning tools. It also allows for quality control. So you have standardized processes and templates to help maintain consistency and professionalism across all grant applications. And Stephanie has even created multiple types of grant strategy systems depending upon what your needs are. And you just saw a glimpse of that. And it has all of our AI prompts built into it. So you can just pull them out. I'm showing you those right there. This is the library of all the prompts, but we also are going to have them incorporated into the standard grant narrative document as well in there, so that you can just highlight them and say, AI, do this, because the AI is built into this. Now, if you use that template, you do have to pay for the Notion AI component, but our template itself is free and included in Boss Club if you join. Now, again, no one else is using this or teaching this right now. I don't know of any other consultants who are doing this for clients. So this is going to set you apart from everybody else on the market. And it's going to be so appealing. And once you take them through, you can take the clients through and show them this. They're going to be blown away. And it's just up to you to make sure you explain to them, and we have it listed throughout the hub, why this is of such benefit to them. All right. I love all the comments. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. All right. I got through that more quickly than I thought it would, so I'm really happy. We still have more to talk about, though. But today, I feel like I met my goal of giving you the big picture blueprint of how to sell and fulfill a 32K grant launch project. Now, if you're somebody who's like, oh, I can't do all this technology, or I can't do all of this at once, just pick a part of it and start there and practice. We spent years doing each individual little part of these things: the grant readiness, the grant search and evaluation and strategy, the standard grant narrative separately for clients, and you can do that too. But the question then is, what should you do next? What should you do in the immediate term? So this is the salesy part. I'm going to talk about Boss Club. So if you don't want to hear about Boss Club, thank you so much for being here. But I want to talk to people who are interested in Boss Club or want to hear more about it. And it's my belief that if you walk away today, you might be able to figure some of this out. I can guarantee you it's not going to be at the level of what we are teaching and providing for Boss Club members, because it's actually, I feel, especially with the Notion hub that Stephanie created, no one else has this. You can't replicate it. It took us over a year to replicate and test this. So if you want to move forward and learn how to do this and take your business to that next level, sounds cheesy, I know. The best thing to do is take action. The other option is maintain the status quo. And if that's what you want to do, do it. Absolutely. I'm here to talk about taking action. And I always try to remind myself of this in business. The best way to start is not to keep doing more and more research and figure out everything to perfection. It's to take action. So I tell myself, I'm not going to get stuck in the exploration phase. If I take action and then decide I don't like the results, that's data that will inform my future decision making. So I'm going to learn quickly how to do what I need to do and take action and get it out there and do it with clients. And as I'm doing that process, I'm still learning. I'm learning always. So that was my little motivational speech for you to take action. And it will also allow you to have evidence that you can do this, whether it's just getting started with grants, whether it's growing your business and taking it to the next level. No amount of hemming and hawing about whether you should or could do this is going to let you know whether you can do it. The only thing that's going to let you know if you can do it is trying to do it. Now, this is a really interesting statistic that I learned a couple years ago, and it makes sense to me in what I've seen with Boss Club and even Grant Writing Made Easier members. So they did a study on patients who had an angioplasty. They found 90% of them did not change their lifestyle habits after that surgery, and then they had to have heart bypass surgery anyway. 90%, so only 10% changed their lifestyle so they didn't have to have that surgery even after going through an angioplasty. But when they combined that angioplasty with a year-long heart health education and support program, peer support, they made changes and avoided bypass surgery. So only 23% of them had to have it as compared to 90%. And I think that speaks to the power of one, formal and well-designed education, and two, a community that wants to see you succeed. And that is what we offer inside of Grant Writing Boss Club. Now, what is Boss Club? You probably heard of it before from my emails, but I want to start by telling you what sets us apart. One, there's no one-size-fits-all recommendations. So you're not just hearing this from me and Stephanie. We have experts in finance, law, marketing, consulting processes, even business mindset, multiple consultants, and that come in and do the training. So we have 9 core trainings. Some of them have helped with that. And we also have people who do the advanced trainings come in and give their perspective on their businesses and their specialties. We believe our tech and tech training, when it comes to AI, are the best in the field, point blank, period. And you can go and do the research yourself and see who's been doing it the longest and who has the best materials. I feel confident in saying that's us. You can disagree, but I recommend you go do the research. Also, it's taught by 2 trained educators. We both have PhDs in rhetoric and writing. I think that helps a little bit, okay? There's nobody else out there with that education teaching grant writing that I know of with that specific education. What else? We have been doing this. I've been doing this for 10 years and we're still doing it, and we are about to grow our business even more. And we have been growing our business throughout the time that we've been doing this. Okay, TikTok's asking me to verify things and I don't even know what I'm doing here. TikTok might cut me off. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it's giving me a weird thing that I can't do. Anyway, a lot of people, and since I started teaching this in 2019, a lot of other courses teaching how to be a grant writing consultant have popped up. A lot of the people who teach those courses are now no longer doing consulting and didn't do it for very long to begin with. So we've been doing this for 10 years. I'm not going to say who, but we've been doing this for 10 years. We're still doing it. We're keeping up and leading what is going on in this space. And we will continue to do so because it is important that we don't just teach, but that we do what we teach first to know that it's successful and that it's good. And finally, what makes this club different? We're student-centric, anti-racist, feminist. And if any of those things are words that you don't like, we're not for you. And that's fine with us. You will find someone else who can help you. Here's what you get if you choose to join Boss Club. Now, I'm putting the link in here, and I'm going to put it in the chat as well. Thank you, everybody. Oh, we've got Boss Club members in the chat saying nice things, and I appreciate that so much. Here's what you get. So you start out, even if you're past this 0 to 49K level, at the Visionary Boss Club phase, and we make sure you have all the basics covered. And in that visionary phase, you learn to pitch, sell, and deliver 3 services that we talked about today: the grant search and strategy, the standard grant narrative, and the launch package in depth. Okay, you get all the stuff you need, all the templates, all the instructions, both written and video, that you need to do all of these things. So you're also going to learn how to structure retainers for long-term guaranteed income, and providing clients with ongoing work here, with ongoing services in these areas. Now, we also have these 9 core trainings that all Boss Club members need to go through. So this is going to teach you how to know what services you should offer. So beyond those core services that we teach you, what else you should offer, how much to charge. You'll learn how to fill your client pipeline with as many or as few clients as you want to, how to do it through cold outreach, networking, social media, email, free trainings, and more. Then you'll learn how to make sure that you are legally set up to protect your business and everybody that you work with and for. Then we'll teach you how to, and also that unit is taught by me and a business attorney, and the materials were developed by a business attorney. Okay. And then you're going to learn going from pipeline to sign. That's unit 4. So once you've got them in that pipeline, talking about giving you more detail and templates of how you get them to actually sign the contract. So if you learn something today in that realm, I promise you, you're going to learn a lot more in that unit. Then we get into the work. Got to do the work. We teach you how to set up systems and SOPs and workflows and project management systems to get the work done, and even like client communications and how to keep things moving and organized and set healthy expectations and boundaries. Then we get into setting up your mindset, freeing your mind to be a boss, not just a freelancer. But we come at it through a feminist, anti-capitalist lens. So we promote feel-good productivity rather than hustle and grind. We look at a values-based approach to work. And it's just a much more joyful approach to being a consultant. And then we get into building wealth, because no one goes into business to be broke. So you're going to learn how to transform your finances so that you make good money while also making an impact. So we'll talk budgeting, cash flow, forecasting, and give you all the templates you need so you never worry about numbers again. Then we get to creating a team, because once you get to a certain level, if you want to go from freelancer to boss, you have to build a team. So I'll talk about how I've hired and managed a team of both salary W-2 grant writers and 1099 contractors to grow and scale my business over the last 10 years. And then finally, build passive income. So I'll show you how I transform my grant writing business by adding digital products and online courses to create like a steady stream of passive income, but also double as a client magnet. So we have all of that in the core Boss Club training library, but we also do monthly advanced trainings that go beyond what we teach in those 9 core training units every single month. So we have 24 1-hour-long or more trainings already in the library. Here are just a few of them that we've done recently. Everything from how to subcontract like a boss, how to use AI in business development. We have guest speakers come like Zen, transition into grant management like a boss. She taught that. How to plan your year like a boss, manage your finances. We had someone who has a $7 million grant writing consulting firm come and share how to scale to 1 million and beyond. So how to create radical change like a boss. So we have all these fantastic topics that we add on every single month. We also do monthly office hours where you can come in, just be in the space with your peers, check in with us, talk about your progress, plan your next boss steps, get in-depth hot seat coaching, and more. And we do weekly power hours. So we do co-working on Mondays to really kick the week off and help people start getting a lot of work done quickly and be more productive than ever. I'm so productive during this 1-hour time period because it's super focused and we're all like body doubling with each other. We have an online community through Mighty Networks where you can go in and interact daily. You can direct message, you can chat, you can post to our feed, and there's tons of support available there. We also have a Boss Club directory. So this is like a more formal means of saying, here's who I am, where I am, what I want to do work in. So you can go in and find people that you could subcontract for, or maybe you want to find a subcontractor so you can go in there, or maybe you just want a boss buddy that is in your area that you can go meet up and have coffee with and talk business with. We also offer a Boss Club completion certificate and logo to anybody who submits their materials to us within the year of their Boss Club membership. And we launched at the end of last year a work shadowing program. So if you just sign like a simple agreement not to reveal the information that we share in there, we actually let you see our client work for one particular client. And we show you what we do. You see the actual materials as we develop them. And we talk through how we're doing them. So we're using like a think aloud protocol, explaining our thought processes and decision making as we work. So you can learn how we navigate challenges, craft proposals, and optimize our workflow in real time. So the one that we're currently doing, the project, is this actual grant launch project for a client. So taking you from start to finish of doing that project. Now, let's talk about Boss Club bonuses. Now, I want to say these are not things that you only get if you join today. These are things you get, just extra things that we have added on because we want to give you more value. So it's not like you have to sign up immediately to get this, okay? Number one, a 1-year membership to Grant Writing Made Easier. Any Grant Writing Made Easier members in here? So this is going to teach you if you're new to grant writing or you need to brush up on your grant writing skills or just want more support. This in itself is a huge course. We call it a mega course because there's so much in it. And honestly, you should go and look at the Grant Writing Made Easier page, if you could pop that in, the sales page, to see what all is in there. But it's a $600 a year course, and it has 4 monthly events. So a workshop, a grant writing workshop, 2 advanced trainings, and one job search and resume lab every single month. Those are live in addition to all of the content. Awesome, Crystal. Thank you. Now, this course alone is worth 23. Oh, that should be actually 0.25. 23.25 CFRE credits just for Boss Club. So that tells you how much training there is in there, because that is a lot of credits. The other bonus is 2 30-minute coaching sessions with me specifically throughout the year of your membership. And in that time, we can talk through specific issues you have that maybe you don't want to bring to the whole group. You want to talk to me just alone with, unrecorded. So that's where we go over like your big strategy, how to help you grow a lot. So more than just talking through like the basics of what we teach, but going deep into your specific needs and situations to help you succeed. Next, we have the Boss Club job board where you can go in and find people who want contractors that have come to our website and requested to work with someone, and those automatically post onto the job board. Next, we give discounts to our top business software. Anytime we can give a discount, we will sign up and get a discount for you guys. Also, you'll get our Grant Writer GPT. So we designed a chat GPT to be a strong grant writer. It's trained on all of our trainings from Grant Writing Made Easier. We also give you AI templates and guides. The other thing is in our live Grant Writing Boss Club only members writing workshops, you get expert coaching and writing feedback. So you'll actually get access to 2 writing workshops per month. 1 through Grant Writing Made Easier, 1 through Boss Club. Okay, and this one's a little cheesy too, but I have a revolutionary new AI Grants Hub that Stephanie created all these trainings for and all these instructions for, and that we're now beta testing in Grant Writing Made Easier with a select few people. But you in Boss Club get immediate access to it. And I talked to Stephanie about this yesterday. And honestly, this is after us just saying, we're not going to take on any giant new projects. I said, Stephanie, what if we made it a goal to get 20 new clients just for doing the launch program? And we showed our Grant Writing Boss Club members the process of us getting those clients. So we already showed in the work shadowing program how we built a grants hub and how we did all of the readiness and the searches and the standard grant narrative development for a client. But what about the business development side? Do you want to see us in 6 months try to get 20 clients just for this project? If you're interested in that, the only way you're going to see that happen is to join Grant Writing Boss Club and get in our work shadowing program, which is you just have to fill out a form to do it. Anybody interested in seeing us in just 6 months get 20 clients to do this 32K program?
I'm going to pop in here real quick because you might be thinking, like, I don't believe they can get 20 clients. Honestly, I'm personally a little skeptical myself. I believe in Krista, I guess. But I have been told that even watching us fail at doing things we set out to do is very informative. So there's that at least.
Thank you for that. Even if we fail, you are going to learn a ton. But I know this about myself. If I tell you all I'm going to do it, I will do everything I can to make it happen. I won't let it, because to me, client stuff is not as interesting as the work that I do with you all, honestly. So if I tell you I'm going to do this, I'm going to do everything I can to do it. Okay. Now, what you'll create. So if you join Boss Club, here's what you'll create. You're going to have a service sheet, written materials you send to prospective clients explaining all of this, and we give you a template and explain to you how to do it and how to figure out your pricing. We have actual formulas, and I share examples from each year in my business, how my pricing and services evolved, so you can see that for yourself. You're also going to create your contracts and legal documents. So those to send to clients, we have both a project and an hourly rate and retainer versions of these contracts. Contracts to use with subcontractors. And also details you need to set up your business with the state and federal government, register as a fundraising consultant, you might have to do that, and even file annual reports. Then your budget and cash flow spreadsheets. We use materials created by one of our guest experts who is a fractional CFO. Your marketing materials, we provide templates for all of this. Now, if you don't want to do social media and email lists right away, put that to the side. But we provide you with, in the visionary phase, the quick things that you can set up and do and the best strategies to get them set up. But then in the core trainings, we give you social media templates and strategies and schedules and email templates that you can use. You're also going to create your client evaluation onboarding materials. These are foundational. We'll give you our templates for a prospective client questionnaire, onboarding guides, like their welcome packages, all of that. Work processes and materials. When you have to get down to the billable work of being a boss, we're going to share how to get the work done. So standard operating procedures, project management templates, even file organization templates to help you stay on top of your work. And then finally, a boss manifesto, your own personal private statement on who you are, why you do what you do, and even how you're going to take care of yourself and what you hope to grow through the business. You keep this to yourself, but this is what we help you do, even starting from the first unit and thinking about what you deeply want out of this business, because you're not going into this business to replicate what you've already experienced as a salaried employee. And you're going to make your clients AI Grants Hub, okay? We have all the training within this Grants Hub to teach you how to build it, as well as within the visionary phase, teaching you the nuts and bolts of how to do the actual writing and how to do the research and the analysis. So you have everything you need to create your client's own AI grants hub and make a ton of money doing that. And it all starts right here. I'm putting the link to Boss Club in the chat again right now, so you can go over there and take a look at it. We have 3 different payment options or equity tiers. So we have supporter, which is like the most privileged level. Then we have ally, which is the less privileged level. And then we have BIPOC, and we're talking a lot about economic privilege here, but also about racial privilege, class background, gender identity, ability, etc. And then finally, we have a category just for BIPOC. Doesn't matter your economic status, anything like that. And it relies upon self-identification. So you don't have to send me some kind of proof or tell me anything. This rate is available to anybody who identifies as Black, Indigenous, or a person of color. Okay? And here is our equity pricing. Supporter is 1 payment of $3,500. Ally is 1 payment of $3,000. And BIPOC is 1 payment of $2,500. Now, we have a new system this year. If you want to do payment plans, we're using a service called Klarna. Kind of a weird phrase or weird pronunciation, Klarna. But you can request an invoice through our system. You'll see there's an invoice button. I'll show you more how to do that. And then you can click that, get an invoice, and actually choose your payment plan. So it goes anywhere from 3 payments to 24 payments. So it gives you more flexibility. And we're not increasing the price on this, even though it's a little bit more. They take a little bit more out of our chunk to do this. But yeah. Okay, cool. Danette uses Klarna. Awesome. Now, if you have a question about, how am I going to pay for this? Or is this considered a business expense that I can deduct on my taxes? Yes, it absolutely is. So in the IRS publication 535 under business expenses, you can deduct the cost of your own education related to your trade or business if the education maintains or improves skills required in your trade or business. Easy. I always have education costs on my tax returns. And do you want to ask your employer to pay for it? Even if you're like, I'm doing this as a side hustle, the skills that we teach with the grant writing, the readiness assessment, the search and strategy, the Notion Hub, even just the AI prompts that we teach can benefit your employer. And we have a template linked on the Boss Club sales page that you can copy and paste and send to your employer. Now, why is this specific education essential to your business growth as a grant writing consultant? Honestly, just to save you years of struggle by following my blueprint that I desperately wish I had many years ago, honestly. To build something that is scalable and sustainable. If you don't want to be doing this, and a lot of people are like in retirement age, they don't want to be doing the hard work of grants all on their own for years to come. You want to build something that takes you out of the day-to-day. This is what you can do. I do very little grant writing at this point. My interest is in the teaching side of everything. So I spend most of my time doing that. And the grant writing is done by Stephanie and other people as well, other people on the team. If you want to feel confident learning from someone successful in this business consistently for the last 10 years, not just a what is it called? Like a one-time wonder or whatever it is, one-hit wonder who was like, oh, I did this so well for 1 or 2 years and now I'm going to teach everybody else. No, I've been doing this for 10 years. I've been teaching this for 5+ years now. If you want on-demand training plus live training, plus live support and community, we've added a ton of live training this year. It's actually phenomenal. So you will get to see us at least twice a week. If you want to see us twice a week, live in person or on FaceTime, FaceTime, Zoom, okay? If you want to improve your skills and also improve your business and increase your success for clients, this is for you. So over the last 10 years, I just want to put this in perspective. I spent almost $32,000 on business courses. I actually went and added this up. I'm telling you that this $2,500 to $3,500 is going to be worth the value and education you get is going to be worth as much as I have paid $32,000 worth to get.
Krista?
Yes.
The one new thing I always wanted to learn was the use of AI, and I've got to admit, I've learned more through Boss Club than any of these other options. And I've looked at every one that comes through my email box, and I'm thinking they're a little bit behind where I'm. Then I thought,
can I quote you on that?
Well, then I thought maybe I could offer to run a session or a workshop, and I thought I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But it's interesting how it's only recently I'm seeing these workshops being offered by these other organizations in the grant world, AI in grant writing. It's like, okay, 2 years later. So that was interesting. And I haven't signed up for any of them, and I'm not paying $69 to go to a workshop that I probably have more experience in than the instructor.
Hey, I actually have to add to that, Krista. I'm really grateful. I mean, because boy, I've been with you since before COVID. Like I was one of the first Boss Club members.
Yes.
That grant writing made it easy. Oh my God, years ago. But I really am grateful to how you've kept us on top of the knowledge. Like I got your email today about, if you don't know AI, someone would place you that will, and that's 100% true. But because I belong to your organizations and stay on top of things, I have quadrupled my salary around what I know about AI. So I've gotten, I actually trademarked a business. If my LinkedIn page, you can see it. It's called Smart Grants AI. And I go into nonprofits around the Twin Cities and I teach them how to use AI, and not just grant writing now, but in development. I've taken additional classes on the side, like on pro level prompting. So I'm really good. I can do a prompt that's a page long that'll give you the most extraordinary output you've ever had. So I went from teaching about grants and then to do that, and then development. And now I'm actually going into some like schools and things that don't have resources to hire grant writers and things, and teaching designating staff on how to use AI. So I use the Minnesota Common Grant application, teach them how to either optimize GPTs or just train a conversational one, upload it. We upload information, show how it fills it out, show them how to, cross-exam RFPs in there. So because of you, in fact, I turned 60 and all my friends are talking about retiring, and I actually am refiring because I'm making more money than I've ever made in my life because of that. So thank you for that.
I'm using that word, refiring.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. When you're trying to get really good at something, for a really good reason. And at that time I was learning about, okay, I want to be an expert in AI grant writing. I'm established myself an expert. He said, so there's that 5-person theory, surround people that you surround yourself with or who you'll become, whatever. It's a little bit different in the sense that surround yourself with 5 people in the field that you want to excel in. So for example, let's call it the circle of 5, you call it. So Krista, you are in my circle of 5. You're one of the first people I wrote down for my assignment for the 5 people. And then what you do is that's who you follow on social media. That's you take time to take their classes. The 5 people you identified that will elevate you toward your goal the quickest. You're not wasting time then. So you're in my circle of 5. So thank you for that. But anyway, I think that's really, really good advice too, because we have so much information being thrown at us all the time. So if you decide, well, if that information isn't going to elevate me to my goal, I'm not gonna take up any of my time.
All right, so sorry for not introducing that clip. I just went right in with Zen, and Zen would be here, but she's in Australia today. And Danette is in the room, and Danette, thank you so much for being here and providing that great testimonial. And I want to say, our Boss Club members are so freaking smart. That's what that proved to me. They're so freaking smart. So if you want to be in a group of smart people like Danette and Zen and a bunch of other people, you will learn from them, and you will get ideas like creating this whole other entity where it's just going out and training nonprofits on how to use AI in their grant writing and other processes, because she does development too. And this is the concept of refiring for me. I've never even heard of that. And so I thank you so much, Danette, for sharing that. And I hope it inspires people, because she also works a full-time job in addition to the consulting work. So you can do it. And after this was over, Zen shared this with me and told me I could share it, that she is able to duplicate her 6-figure grant writing salary with her college doing consulting. So 100K as her grant writing gig, and then another 100K just doing the side work of consulting. Okay. And just keeping both of those. Like, what in the world? And part of it is because she uses AI, and Danette too, so freaking well. In part because she learned some with us, but also because they use it so much and they really work at it and perfect it. So kudos to those other folks, and especially to Danette and Zen. So again, here's the equity pricing tiers. If you click on the Boss Club link right here, you can get to these. You can do the one-time payment, $3,500 for supporter, $3,000 for ally, $2,500 for BIPOC. The tier explanations are on the sales page. They're linked below every single place where you sign up. And again, if you want to request an invoice to pay with Klarna, or if you just want to request it so that your employer can see it and then pay for it, you can go and hit the request an invoice button. All right. Any questions thus far? I do want to show you this request an invoice process. Oh, that should have a different image. So you can do the one payment thing directly through Mighty Networks, fill in your info there, hit confirm subscription, and then you'll be sent to the login immediately. You don't have to do any extra steps. But if you want an invoice or a payment plan, go to any of those 3 request an invoice buttons. You're going to enter your name, first and last, email, hit submit. And I want to show you this because to me it was confusing. So then you're going to go to that button right here that says pay another way. Then you're going to select Klarna over here. And there's a Klarna application. I don't control this. You have to apply to do it through Klarna. And then you choose your payment plan. So it's between 3 payments or 24 payments. And then you hit confirm and pay. You put in your billing info and hit confirm and pay. I've just kind of blocked out what I have there. And then it'll take no more than 24 business hours for us to get to that. So by the next business day, let's say you do this at midnight, we'll get to it the next day and admit you into the course. Okay, the other thing I want to say is there's no pressure to join today. I want you to take the time, think about this, think about the value. I encourage you to go look at other options. There are other memberships you can join, okay, specifically for becoming a grant writing consultant. I'm confident in telling you to Google those and look for those, and you'll come back and choose us, okay? Because in my opinion, we're the best. We're the best teachers. We're still practicing consultants. And we have values that probably align with yours, whereas the other ones maybe don't, or they don't speak about them as much as we do. So if you're on our email list, you know what I'm talking about already. I don't have to get into it. but we are closing registration on May 5th. So take a little time, but get it done by May 5th. 11:59 p.m. Central, May 5th. We're closing registration. Not to create any kind of stress on people, but just because this is a lot for us to do and manage. So we close it and then we open it back up. Probably not again until the fall. Okay, so if you're wanting to do this spring, summer, and get started, join right now. If you want to see us live doing this 6-month get 20 clients thing for the launch program, join us now. If you want to get access to the AI Grants Hub and get that before everybody else starts doing it, probably well ahead of everybody else, join us now. You can take the course at your own pace. It's all evergreen content except for the monthly advanced trainings. And then we also have like things to support you, like office hours, writing workshops. In Grant Writing Made Easier, we have like 4 things a month. Yeah. And we record everything. Unlike today, which is a webinar and gave me some weird problem with recording, we record all of the live trainings successfully in Boss Club and Grant Writing Made Easier. So you can go back and watch them anytime. And we do have lots of people who are working full time and doing this and learning this and growing their business on the side before they go out and go full time with this. And that, to me, is the safest way and really the best in terms of revenue for doing this. Thank you, Carmen. Thank you so much. Darlene, monthly advanced trainings. Stephanie just put those in there. Also, if you go onto our Boss Club sales page, there's a list of when everything is, all of the live stuff is. So you can go look that up there. And like I said again, all recorded. I'm just looking back through some of the comments. Yay, Evelyn, you're going to join. Awesome. Yeah, go on and use that template that we provide on the Boss Club sales page. It's under every single registration is open section where it has the pricing. It says, need funding to make Boss Club happen? Ask your employer to sponsor you using our employee sponsorship request template. And I'll put that in here. Oh, it didn't link it. Dang it. Stephanie, help. Maybe I can get it up. I can get it up. Here we go. I just pulled it up. That link is to the employee sponsorship request template. Nicole, please join us again. Nicole's been a member 2 separate years of Boss Club, and I would love to have you back. Oh my gosh, Evelyn. All right, Stephanie, can you screenshot Evelyn's comment about, because of the Grant Writing Made Easy and the AI training, I submitted a $2 million grant proposal to the CDFA and it felt less stressful than smaller grants I wrote before GWME. Let me know in June. Yes. Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Yes, Nicole, we won't let you go. Okay, Darlene said, does this include grant resources? So Grant Writing Made Easier teaches you how to write grants, from the mission and history, the statement of need, the program design, the budget. It teaches you how to search for grants. And there's also sections within that course on how to use AI to write grants as well. And earlier, Denise, who is in Boss Club, asked, when are we going to start this getting 20 clients thing? Look, I'm going to go ahead and count one client that's halfway in the door. Like, they've already said yes with this, and we're just got to get all the processes going. So I can show you that, because it's actually a university client, and the process of getting them signed is a little bit harder. not as easy as like a regular nonprofit client. So I'll show you that. But they were just somebody that we just did a grant launch project for, was so happy with it. They were like, we want you to do it for this other thing that I do, because she does so many things with her university. Okay, Darlene, yes. So you find and get your own clients, but you do get to watch us do work in our work shadowing program on our client projects. You're asking really good questions, and I really appreciate that, Darlene, because sometimes I forget, you know, when you're kind of like new to Boss Club, if you haven't heard about it before, I forget, like, yeah, we got to really explain how all these things work. Other questions, things I haven't covered. Stephanie, things that you can think of that I should mention.
I can't think of anything. I will say, so if you've been asking questions in the Q&A box, I have been trying to get those answered. Those of you who asked questions in the chat, as I mentioned earlier, I thought I was answering those, but I was just sending messages to myself. So I apologize about that. And if you had a question earlier that you still have, please feel free to put that in the chat again, because that's on me.
The webinar format is different on Zoom, and I wish it wasn't. Like, I mean, for the chat, like, why is it like that? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little confusing from other things.
And I still haven't figured out why it didn't record for me. So I don't know if I'm going to have to do a redo session or a what, but oh, thank you, Evelyn. That's so awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. Can you take more screenshots? Anytime somebody gives a comment in a chat about a success, I like to screenshot it because I think it's nice to see it actually occurred rather than just copying and pasting it into a testimonial. Linda, you are want to be a nonprofit trainer. Do you offer opportunities? We have openings right now for a grant writing assistant and a grant writing associate. So if you want to apply for those are on our jobs page on the KristaKerlinkis.com website. That's our consulting side of things. I'll give you the link if you want to take a look at those. Yeah. Darlene, we are, because you know what? We got to do these 20, these 20 new clients.
Yeah, and there's no way that we can do 20 clients with just the two of us.
Yeah, we would definitely be burnt out, pulling our hair out. Oh, Christina, thank you. Yeah, I've just been waiting to get through this training to reply back to anybody about those applications. So, absolutely. All right, let me tell you something else here. Real quick. I didn't have the forethought to say I'm not going to do a grant chat at 3 p.m. today. So if you want to join us for an after party over on Mighty Networks, you can do that. I'm going to go in and do a grant chat today in 18 minutes. So if y'all want to come and ask more questions there, I will be there. You just have to be a free Mighty Networks community member. Sorry, I was reading then forgot to finish my sentence. Darlene, it just depends on your skill level if you would need to complete the training before you apply. Just depends on your experience and skill level, but we will have people who join us as grant writing associates learn how to use the Notion AI Grants Hub. Yeah, Derek, the next webinar after party. For today, you can join this one, but we go live every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. and it's in our free community, so anybody can join us. Thank you so much, Denise. I appreciate you all so much. All right, and in the meantime, if you can't join us for the after party, email me at support@grantwritingmadeeasy.com with questions. Make sure you go over the Boss Club sales page thoroughly, and then come with any questions you have that we don't answer there in our email. You can feel free to ask us whatever. We're happy to answer your questions. I thank you all so much for joining us. I'm going to go take a 10-minute break. We'll send the part of the recording that we have to your email, or maybe, who knows, maybe it got recorded somehow somewhere else. I don't know. We'll send what we have to everybody's email. Thank you, Darla Joe, our community manager on Mighty Networks, if you don't know that. Appreciate you so much. Yes, we could send the slides. Good idea. Thank you, Darlene. We're so excited. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.